You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you
Oh,
hear
I
me?
got to turn you up. What's up, man? Where you at?
I'm actually the internet is down at my
I
place.
see that. It's dark back there, man. I
Yeah,
couldn't I couldn't
I'm just
recognize your face there. There you go.
I'm sitting in my car.
It's amazing you even get a connection with me, man. What's going on? I
Yeah,
feel like
so
we talk every day.
yeah, I know, I know. Uh, uh,
So you
so
guys just keep in mind, Jonas is on like the other side of the world from me, and this kid takes action. And I just like if you have an excuse in the United States, this kid's gonna punch you in the mouth. So it's like it's this kid's like in the dark with bad internet. What time is it there right now, Jonas?
midnight, 1 minute.
Midnight.
Yeah,
So and Jason's now teasing me with like a gerbil or something. So you got some competition here. So what can I help you out with, Jonas? I mean, I feel like I know Zach answers like most of your questions, but not, you know, what do you got for dad?
yeah. So I got this sweet lady in Kentucky,
Okay.
and she owns a vacant lot in Texas. And she had I called her. She had actually gotten a mail. But fortunately, I got in touch with her and we shared some laughs. So yeah, it's pretty good relationship there.
Okay.
Uh, and her father, who owned the land, he died like 10 years ago.
Okay.
I have searched in the county in Texas, and there isn't a will, at least the public record.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she doesn't really know if there's a will or not.
Okay.
Uh, and we could do a small affidavit, uh, the shortcut, kind of like with probate. But one of the requirements is that it's a homestead, and it's a vacant lot. But could that slide past
So
the
let
judge?
me ask you, have you ran some preliminary numbers on the values there and what she wants for it?
Yeah, I called the realtor. She said 6K, and I got it to 7K, and she wants 1.5K.
Okay.
So it's
So
not a big spread.
no, it's not a big spread. That's some of the downsides of like small land and like so Kentucky's kind of a small market. No
Yeah,
diss. I have friends that live there. But like whenever this comes up, the first thing I do is reach out to a title company
hmm
and see what we can do.
hmm
Eventually, if somebody, I assume it would be a buildable piece of land, or is it just a land for
yeah,
like
it's
okay,
in also, the land is in Texas, and it's in pretty central.
Texas? So um, at some point, you'll have to clear the title on the land, even though it's a low amount of money. So the
hmm
key is there. You got to work with a title company and see what you can do. Most of the times when I get a piece of property and I have this situation, and by the way, it happens all the time. Um, I got to make sure there's enough profit in there to cover any types of fees, legal fees.
hmm
So what you have to do is at some point they're going to have to open a probate and run it through. Unfortunately, the typical cost in the United States for an average probate is probably around $1,500, and that's one where you don't go to court. If you go to
Oh,
court, it can double, if not triple. So you always got to make sure it's worth your time and effort for the profit. Now, if I have it, say I had $100,000 house and they want to give it to me for 40 grand and you have this same problem,
mm,
if they'll sign a like some sort of commitment or contract, even though they don't have the legal authority, is I said, listen, I've already talked to my title company. They says we need to open a probate. It's going to be about $1,500. I'll go
mm.
ahead and I'll front the money. By the way, you don't front the money; you just pay the legal cost, which is about 500-600 bucks, depending on what state you're in. And then what I tell them is when we sell it, you'll just have to reimburse me that cost so we can get the deal done. And you can do that. The problem is on the land, I don't know if there's going to be enough money there to make that work, to take that kind of risk.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a learning lesson from you. It's just with houses, you give me a smoking deal on a house, I'll pay for your probate. I'll say, listen, I'll pay up to $3,000 for your probate. And I
Mm.
get some monster deals because the problem is you need to have someone open a probate for someone to have legal authority to enter into a contract. By the way, I have people that don't have legal authority entering contracts with me all the time. Why would I have someone to sign a contract that's not legally binding? Because it mentally commits them to it. Like they're like, okay, I won't deal with any, and then we have to go through. I have one I'm going through right now We're going on 1.8 years now. But here's the really cool part. I contract the house for 80,000. It's probably worth 280 now.
Wow.
It's insane. It's like, and the lawyer goes, so their lawyers come back. There's some other areas that came out. They go, we're gonna have to renegotiate this. I go, I'm good. I'm just like, I don't need to regret. You guys are obligated. She was the one on it. I'll be fair. I'll give them a little bit more money, but like, we got to get this thing wrapped up. So it's once you put lawyers in the stuff and like there's people fight it in probate, that's when you have problems. But I own a place right now. I don't even have clear title to. I took it over. It's an old house, and the lady's like, just give me a couple grand, and I took it over, like subject to, but her husband died. They never did the stuff correctly, and she's not cooperating. But I make $1,000 a month. I don't even care if it clears. Like that's another one if I'm going to keep it as a rental. So I don't think there's going to be enough money in it, Jonas. I'm just going to be honest with you, unless you can find other numbers on it. So the last thing you want to do in wholesaling, guys, is waste your time and not make any money. That is like a kick in the gut. That's like me I went to a bare knuckle fight last night for the headliner round. You ready for this? Like the big fight, 260-pound men. It lasted 5 seconds. The guy punched him once in the mouth and it was over. I'm just like, how much did we just pay for this fight? I was like, Zach looked at me like, now let me tell you, it was quite a rock. But that's how it feels when you do all that work. And the last thing you want to do, Jonas, is pull money out of your pocket for a deal that's going to fall apart. So unless you give me any other information, I don't think you have much there. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
If you had a house and she's like, just give me $1,000 and there you could put a renter in there, I'll do that all day long. Guys, clear title sometimes, unless you're flipping a property and insuring it. I've owned 100 properties with like clouded titles. Like it happens in the United States. There's some of the best deals you ever have. If you never plan on selling the property or you don't care about flipping it, who cares? Here's my theory. Anything under 10 grand where I can make a sizable return, I'll take the risk all day long. I don't want any of you guys to do it. I learned it I didn't do a deal like that till I was about 4 or 5 years into the business. So it does take some time. You got to work with lawyers and title companies. But that's my opinion on that, Jonas.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking, if it's a small estate affidavit, I think it's called, I thought you just filed the form and then the judge cleared.
As I said, talk to your title company. Every state's like a little bit different. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one. All I can do is learn from my experiences and share it with you. So I'd reach out to the title company and confirm that. But keep in mind, whenever you buy a property with a clouded title, which means it's not clear, number one, it's not insurable. So when you go to sell it, you're always going to sell it at a deep discount too. So you got to pass that savings on because now somebody else has to take a calculated risk just like you would do if you were going to do that. The problem is when you're trying to flip it, like they're already like shaky with your assignment of contract anyways. You throw in like a clouded title. They're like, I mean, what are you, crazy? So anything under 10 grand, like I don't overly worry about it as long as I can profit from it and it's legal. So by the way, there's houses up in the Northeast, especially in Boston. Anybody in here from Boston? Title gets very complicated after like 75 years of like ownership. It gets really complicated. So whatever. I mean, you'll learn from it and go from there. What else you got? Anything else?
I'm gonna call that land 16 acres in Georgia. A little nervous, but I'll do it. Have a great day.
So you guys, whenever you say there's nervous or like I'm scared to do this, it's a feeling you acknowledge, but you got to go through it because it feels so much better to get the other side. Have you ever done something you're scared with and you're like, nah, I don't want to do it? Anybody can relate. I used to have a fear of the dentist for like the longest time, even as an adult. Like I would just tense up. I'm like sticking your hands in my mouth. I hated it. And I just had like an epiphany one day. I go, I'm just going to open my mouth and just forget about it. It doesn't mean it hurts any less for me. I get over it because I have to go through it to get it done. Right. Yeah. So you got to kind of do the same. So do that. You know where you are. I'll see you next week, Jonas. And I wish you the best of luck. Get some sleep, buddy.
I will.
Okay, man. I'll talk to you.